What's the matter, Bob? Bob? What? What's the matter?
Gerald Herdman's son, Clayton.
Yes?
He's dead.
What? Oh, no. What happened? Huh?
He was eaten by his hogs.
Oh, no.
Yes.
God.
All we found was his dentures and the 2 brass buttons from his coveralls.
What?
They ate the rest.
How did it...
He was in the hog barn doing something, don't know what. Could have been a heart attack or a stroke that knocked him down, but they got him.
It's happened before.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you've told me about different fires.
Yes, I've seen it a few times. Pigs will eat anything.
Oh, that's terrible.
Sure is.
Poor Gerald's all alone out there now.
He had an odd reaction to the whole thing.
To
the pig, to the death.
What did he say?
He told me he was relieved.
Why?
He said Clayton had been acting real angry lately, yelling to himself, and that it was making him real nervous.
Oh, I don't think poor Clayton ever got over that war.
Gerald says he's in a better place now. He hopes.
I'm going to make Gerald a casserole. I mean, not right now, but in a day or so. God.
At least there wasn't nothing grisly to look at. Like I say, his dentures and his buttons.
Terrible.
You know, I am used to dealing with illness and accidents and death, but this week there's been 3 bad ones.
Oh, Bob.
First, it was that mentally challenged kid, Kevin Whipley, who slipped into the Becker's manure pond and drowned.
Oh, such a sweet soul.
Then it was Dale Quirk getting his long hair caught in the power takeoff on his tractor and having his head.
Oh, God.
Eesh.
I'm sorry.
Me too. I'm getting a little tired of this job as coroner.
You don't have to do it, Bob. Let somebody else do it. 5 years is long enough.
There's only 2 other doctors in town. Dr. Olafson is about to retire, and Dr. Pankow. Well, he's a complete ass. He won't do it. He won't even make house calls anymore, greedy bastard.
Well, maybe there's a... Oh. I didn't know you were drinking again.
You know, I think I need to have a little drink every once in a while.
It's been, you haven't drank since...
Not since you stopped.
5 years.
Is this going to be a problem?
No,
I mean,
go ahead.
I don't have to do it if you...
Go ahead, Bob.
Sure.
It's okay. Things are different now.
Well, I guess I should have asked before I brought a bottle home, but I was so bothered today by this series of dark events.
It's okay. You deserve it.
If you're absolutely sure.
As a matter of fact, I was thinking of drinking myself.
Oh,
Yes, I think I can now.
it was pretty bad before,
Oh,
Rena.
that's because we were having trouble with the kids, and you and I were going through a rough patch. And
I don't think you should. I mean,
well, I decided I'm going to.
you've already.
Yeah, I've decided.
How long have you been thinking about this drinking?
Just off and on since, I don't know, I guess about 9 months. I mean, I haven't been obsessed or anything.
But you've decided.
Yes.
You know, I don't need to drink.
Oh, come on, Bob. It's fine. Don't make a big deal out of it.
Well, I'm not. I don't think, am I?
Yes.
I just think you had such a hard time before.
Let's celebrate.
What?
You, Bob.
Me?
All you've done for this town, all the people you've helped, the accidents you've witnessed, the people you've stitched up.
I have gone through a lot of surgical thread.
Let's have a drink.
Yeah, let's.
Make mine neat.
Neat. Neat.
Here's to you, Bob.
No, here's to us.
Well, that's that.
Here's to poor Clayton herdsman.
To poor Clayton.
And to the hogs that ate him.
Oh, no.
They won't be long for this world either.
Oh, God. God, I don't know how you do it.
What's that?
You see so much tragedy. I couldn't do it.
I see the good stuff too.
Like what, Bob?
Well,
What?
like, okay. How about Cindy Wiffle's healthy, happy 9-pound baby girl last week?
Oh, that's a big one.
That's the good
that was
stuff.
our first, right?
Yeah, it's the good stuff.
Oh.
Perfectly healthy, except for
What, Bob?
she was born with a birthmark.
Oh, what kind?
They call it a port wine stain. In her case, it's a purple circle from her forehead down to right above her top lip.
What causes that?
Excess skin pigmentation. I believe it's a genetic mutation.
Well, can it be removed?
It's possible with laser treatment. And quite often, it's permanent. Well, 1 in 300 babies get it.
Gee.
And the family doesn't make a lot of money, so I doubt they'll be able to afford the treatments.
It isn't covered by health insurance?
It's not considered a medical necessity.
Even if it's a purple circle from her forehead to her lip?
It's considered cosmetic.
It's not right.
Yeah. Luck of the draw, I guess.
Well, that's too bad.
The strange thing is the father's got a mark on his face, too.
Really?
His goes from his nose up to his ear.
So it can run in families.
Not usually.
I gave birth 8 times. It never really felt good.
I know.
In fact, it hurt like hell every time.
Yeah.
Here's to hurting like hell.
And luck of the draw. We've been lucky.
I don't know about that.
Well, come on. We got a lot to be thankful for.
No, I'm not saying I'm not thankful. I just don't know if I'm lucky.
Could always be worse.
Oh, that's for sure. It goes so fast.
In the blink of an eye.
Well, I'm glad we're doing this.
Yeah. What?
Drinking.
Oh.
We needed a break.
Yeah? From
not drinking.
Oh, I guess so.
We used to have those parties when we were, in our 30s and 40s.
George and Carol McKinney.
Oh, George and Carol, yes. Oh, we had so much fun, didn't
For
we?
a long
A
time.
long time. God, I miss them.
They were a lively couple.
We used to laugh all night.
We did.
When they moved away, it was
Kind of sad.
They were our best friends.
I know.
We poured that red paint all over the war cannon at the courthouse.
Oh, geez. Thank God we didn't get caught.
That damn war.
We were drunk.
It was in the paper.
People thought the long-haired kids did it
People blamed the Indian kids too because they were,
Indians.
yes, small-minded people. This town's got a lot of them. I hate that.
How about the army worms?
The what?
The army worm invasion.
Oh my God, yes.
Unbelievable.
Oh, why did that happen?
We were having a cookout in the yard.
George and Carol were here.
It was a party.
Oh, they were everywhere.
Yes.
Oh, those worms got in the house.
I'll never forget.
I put towels underneath every door.
I was grilling steaks and sweet corn. It was a beautiful June day. The yard was full of kids. They were all wet and slippery from the plastic pool. And I look up from the grill and I didn't know what it was at first. I thought a breeze was blowing through the grass, because of the movement of it. But it wasn't a breeze. It was thousands of army worms coming from the north, marching over everything.
Good Lord.
Kids were screaming.
We were all scared.
We ran into the house. I tripped and dumped the steaks into a bush.
We left the corn out there. We were.
There were 15 of us with our faces pressed against the window, watching those worms march across the landscape. It was like a horror film.
They ate our whole garden.
They ate our scarecrow.
And a month later, the house was full of moths.
Everywhere.
Oh, they ate my favorite sweater.
They ate my favorite hat.
Oh, God. And then they were gone.
Yes, back to normal.
Here's to normal. Sometimes I think that we should have moved to Minneapolis. It's a great city. Oh, lots of art and culture.
Yes, but they needed a doctor here, and I had to.
I know. You grew up here, and your parents were here.
I miss Mom sometimes. I used to love going out to the farm for Sunday dinner. Nobody baked a chicken like she did.
And her pickled beets were so good.
Oh, they were the best.
And I hated beets until I had hers.
Yeah.
She was so kind. Oh, the best disposition. I don't remember her ever being angry.
She wasn't. Not like Dad.
No.
He was a bastard half the time.
Well, he wasn't very warm or very kind.
That's an understatement.
Well, he wasn't.
When I was a kid, we were getting in the car to go to town, to go to church. And my dad told me to go close a barn door. And so I run down, I climbed over a fence so I could get there quicker. And I caught my pants on a nail. I couldn't get off. I was struggling. And he yells, come on. And I'm stuck. And he runs down and he jerks me real hard off the fence. He rips my pants, he cuts my leg, and then he says, you dumb son of a bitch, what the hell are you doing? I was 9.
Oh, God. Why? Why did he?
He was a bastard.
He was such a successful salesman, He could entertain anybody. He made everybody laugh.
He was a phony.
He wasn't mean all the time, Bob. I mean, you had some good times when you were.
No, not really.
Oh, come on. There must have been some times when you were.
He was cold and abusive. Story over.
Well, you can't hang on to it. I know what resentments do. They eat you up.
Yeah, I guess you would know.
Why? What does that mean?
Well, you just said you know what resentments do.
Yes, I said I know what resentments do.
Yes, I was agreeing with
Yes, but your tone of voice is kind
What?
of. Are you mad? Are you mad at me?
You didn't have to live with that bastard, so you don't know what it was like, okay?
Oh, I know that, Bob. I'm just saying, please. You gotta let it go.
Okay. So why don't you just deal with your issues and you leave mine to me?
You know, sometimes you're just like your dad.
Well, I'm sure glad you started drinking.
We started drinking.
Right. We.
Well, I guess now we're having an argument.
Is that what this is?
We haven't talked about anything for quite a while, so I guess this is good. I guess this is good, Bob. Don't you think? Bob? Bob? Bob,
What?
don't shut down, please.
I just wanted to have a little drink. I mean, it's been a rough day. It's been a rough week. A man was eaten by his hogs. I had to pick up his teeth and his buttons.
I know, Bob.
A slow-minded kid drowned in a manure pond. A careless, long-haired farmer had his head ripped off. It was a mess.
Bob!
What?
Stop it!
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm trying to talk to you.
Okay. All right, let's talk. Let's go ahead and talk it up. I thought we were having fun a minute ago.
I thought so too.
What happened?
Your dad? He's inside you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, who's inside you?
A lot of people.
Right.
Right, but you know damn well I'm working on it. I'm trying to.
Oh, I shouldn't have brought booze into the house.
It's not about the booze, Bob.
It was selfish.
No, it's not about the booze.
And what's it about?
You're angry.
Okay. Here's the anger.
We haven't really dealt with everything.
Why do we need to do that?
To be free, Bob.
Things happen in life and you just move on.
Well, first, you have to deal with it.
What's done is done.
But what about your dad?
Oh, for Christ's sake.
See?
What?
You've never dealt with it.
I'm not going to deal with it.
Why not?
Because I don't want
You
to.
have to.
I don't have to do a goddamn thing.
No, don't talk to me that way.
All right.
What are you doing?
This is a bad
I
idea.
know it's a good idea.
Look where we
Oh,
are.
no, we're just talking. There's no harm in it.
I think there is.
Oh, come on.
Happy hour is over.
Bob. So now what?
Here's the piece, okay?
The inner peace, okay. I guess we just go ahead.
No,
Sorry.
you go ahead.
No, you.
Please.
I was gonna say, I had a dream about Freddie last night.
Oh boy.
I dreamt that he died.
It's just a dream.
He's unhappy, Bob. And alone.
He's all right. He's always working.
I sent him money.
What?
He quit his job.
What? The job at the
foundry where he'd been working for 2 years.
Yeah. Why did he quit?
He said they didn't like him. That they were tormenting him, is what he said.
What the hell does that mean?
Somebody put a used tampon in his jacket pocket.
What?
He found it reaching for his sandwich at lunch.
That's ridiculous.
And then they did it again.
Well, what the hell for?
People are cruel for no reason.
Bastards. He told me he liked that job, running a core shell machine at that place.
When did he tell you that?
Well, it was, I don't know.
Not recently.
No, it was a while ago.
He doesn't like the city.
Well, does he, what's he gonna do?
Oh, he doesn't know, Bob. He sounded,
What did he sound?
desperate.
Well, what does that mean? I mean, we all have problems in life, and we learn to somehow.
I'm worried about him.
He's 37 years old, Rena. He's got to make his way.
He's always been troubled.
The other kids don't seem to have this kind of problem.
And it goes back to Kenny Linger, to that day when.
Oh, no, please, not the Kenny Linger.
Can't we be honest, Bob? With this thing.
It was 30 years ago.
32. Freddie was 5. It affected him, Bob. It did. And we made some mistakes. I mean, I didn't know what to do.
Of course you didn't. I mean, that's a situation that you can't, you don't, you just gotta.
Thought he was in the backyard playing with his fire truck. I looked out the window and he was gone. And I started to look, and I went down to the end of the yard, and I saw him back in that field behind the house, alone, standing in the sun by that pile of broken cement, naked. I made him take a bath. He didn't understand what was happening, and I yelled at him, Bob. I asked him what he did, and he said, Kenny did it. Kenny Linger did it. And I blamed Freddie, Bob. He was the victim, and I blamed him. What was I thinking?
You didn't know what had happened.
No. Kenny took his clothes off, and Freddie told me.
I examined him, and there were no signs or indications of any kind of violence or any sort of a sexual.
Our son, I believe him.
Look, I'm not saying something didn't happen.
Something happened, Bob. Something did happen. I went over there to the Lingers. Joyce was a friend of mine. We played bridge on Tuesdays, and she said, my son did not do this. How dare you? Then she slammed the door in my face, and I asked you, Bob. I told you to go over there and talk to Kenny's dad, and you didn't do it. You didn't.
I did talk to him. I did.
You never told me.
I did tell you.
Why don't I remember it?
Well, there's a lot you don't remember.
What does that mean?
Because you were drunk.
I would have. I had to.
Kenny denied it, and his dad told me to get off his property. I told you this.
feel so guilty.
You feel guilty all the time, Rena. You got to stop it. You got to give yourself a break.
You can't just tell me not to feel bad, Bob. That doesn't help. That doesn't work. It's not the answer.
Your guilt is killing you.
Our 5-year-old child was violated by a 15-year-old pervert, and we didn't do a goddamn thing.
It was our word against Kenny's. He denied it. He denied it. They all denied it.
And he was never the same.
I don't know about that.
He didn't trust anyone. I could see it.
Oops, you thought you could see it, but maybe it was in your...
What? In my mind?
Well, you felt so bad about it.
It's not my mind. It affected him, Bob. I think you know this. Don't deny it. What kind of relationship do you have with him?
Not good.
And why is that?
Oh, so it's my fault?
No,
is that what you...
I'm not saying that.
There's no telling with anyone how we're going to turn out. I mean, look, I become a doctor and my big brother sits alone across town in a dirty, small apartment drinking, and he was Dad's golden child.
I know.
So I keep thinking someday, Freddie, he's gonna come out of himself. He's gonna figure out what makes him okay in life and what he wants to do, but he's got to do it himself. We all do.
But not alone, Bob.
We're all alone.
What?
The whole thing's a goddamn mystery.
What thing?
Life doesn't make sense. I've held newborn babies in my hands and had them die several times in front of their heartbroken parents. And I've seen worthless, mean, evil bastards live to be forever.
I want my son to be all right. And I want you to be all right. I love you, Bob. Oh, it's Freddie. Freddie.
Hello? Hi, son. Yeah, it's Dad. Yeah. We're doing okay. Hanging in there. Yeah. Yeah. It's been cold here. How are you feeling, Freddie?
What did he?
He hung up.
Was he?
He told me to go to hell.
No. Only you?
Yeah. Well, I guess you're off the hook.
Fantastic. Thank you, guys. Can I have everybody come back? The cast and crew. Really, really wonderful, everybody. And great. And let me, so I don't know where they are on your screen, but we have Joe Keys, the playwright. So Joe, you could wave. And Lily Knight and Steve Hofvendahl. Fantastic. And Peter Flood, who just stepped away from the camera. Is our director. There he is. There's Peter Flood and Peter Flood. So thank you guys all very, very much. To our audience, the way that this works is you could either raise your hand or you can put something in the chat, or you can do a Q&A. You could add a question to the Q&A, whatever you like, whatever makes you comfortable. and then we'll get going. So my question is going to be really to the whole team, because you guys, this is episode number 3. And anybody who really wants to chime in, I'm really curious about some of the discoveries that are being made as each episode goes on. You're going from one to the next, and sort of the evolution of these characters. And Joe, certainly the evolution of your writing. And Peter, as a director, what are you discovering from episode to episode? So anybody who wants to chime in, take it away.
To say, you want to speak, Joe? Go ahead.
No, you go first.
This is a function of,
Peter, you're a little soft. There's something with your mic. You have to plug in.
how's that?
You're still a little soft.
How's that?
There we go. That works.
Oh, I forgot about that. So,
Okay.
this is the HOMEFIRES is based on Joe's growing up in Pipestone, Minnesota, and to a certain extent, it's a memory play, but it's not purely a memory because it's evolved. The play takes on its own reality, even though it's based on personal experience. It gets to a point where it goes beyond being an exact representation of personal experience. The characters start to have their own mind, so to speak. I think it's been great watching Joe recall and to use the world of the story and the family itself in the setting that the family survives in, for the story to emerge from that little by little. The process is feeding on itself, basically,
Right.
with Steve and Lily. And
Yeah, I see that.
we got through HOMEFIRES 1 and HOMEFIRES 2. The character RENA was pretty much the center of the piece. Her disturbances about where she lived and the people that she was surrounded by. And HOMEFIRES 3 really was we just chose to turn it towards Bob. And that the opening, I think, his vulnerability at the beginning, where he's had these days, he's seen these things. Normally, he's in the first HOMEFIRES 1 and 2, they're little stories that he uses to sort of distract her or to let her know what's going on. Now they are disturbing him. So, where he says, I'm tired of this job as coroner, and that opens him up to greater vulnerability.
Right.
And there was no plan to begin with. This has been an evolution.
Oh, this has been great. Peter, you're going to want to switch out your headset, by the way. You're going to get a little bit of static.
Okay.
So does anybody else want to chime in before I open it up to the house?
I just want to thank you, Todd, for creating Smartphone Theater and this
Always a pleasure. Thank you, Joe.
great place where we can work on stuff. And Steve and Lily, that was great, man.
It was
just great. And Peter, it's always so insightful. So I just want to thank you guys for, as Peter just said, this kind of journey we're on. I mean, I had written HOMEFIRES 1 a few years ago, and it was just sort of a standalone piece. And then once the COVID hit, I thought, well, I don't know where the idea came from. Well, I'm gonna try another one there. And then I, started thinking about my hometown and stuff, and it's just been something to work on, really, because we've been sort of shut down and trapped. And I'm just lucky that I know two of the best actors I know are, our husband and wife that live together, and that Peter, that I know you and Todd. So it just the luck of the draw, as we say in the place. And we're just going to keep going until we can't write till it starts to suck.
I will add quickly that two things. One, we at one point we were talking about shaping this material towards a play, and there was always the discussion about it being more like an episodic series, and that it would have a story arc extended over, say, 6 episodes or possibly more. That's one thing. So we've sort of committed to the episodic version. And the other thing for me personally is the joy of entering into the world that Joe grew up in. That we're not in an urban environment. I think it's fantastic for me personally, creatively, because it opens up my own thinking and imagination for people who live a different life in a different place. And it's deeply empathetic and humanizing. So I'm really grateful for the partnership with Joe and through Lily and Steve are extraordinary. Working and having two actors in the same frame is a total blessing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, of this caliber also. You're
Yeah.
brilliant.
It's so much more fun to play with him than it is to play with the camera.
Yeah. Ditto.
That's great.
That
All
was
right, Lisa Richards, we're going to go to you.
I just thought it was amazing, Joe. I believe this is what I saw in the unit. It's a similar, it was the same piece that we saw in the unit, but it has been transformed to an amazing extent. And the way you brought the liquor in, I remember the liquor was so great, but I thought, how are we going to get the liquor in there? It was just wonderful the way you had him go and get it. I loved that he needed it. I loved his vulnerability. I loved because he's been pretty stoic before. And I loved that that Lily was, I'm sorry, I'm using your real name, but
That's
that
fine.
Lily was going a little bit crazy before, but now we see that Steve has his own problems. You know, we all have our problems. That was just so beautiful. And Freddie, it became the central. That then you really focused it on Freddie this time, which I thought was. That's what it needed. I just thought that was so brilliant, Joe. My hat is off to you, and I loved the ending. And of course, I want to tune in for the next chapter.
Absolutely. Well, you'll know about it. You're first on the list.
Good.
Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah.
Thank you,
great.
Lisa.
And
Thank you,
wonderful
Lisa.
acting, wonderful acting. Wonderful. Peter.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Stephen Small wants to know about the picture at the beginning. He wants to know if that's your dad or if that's just a random picture.
No, Steve. Hi, Steve's a wonderful, funny actor that I worked with years ago at the old Creamery Theater in Garrison, Iowa. He's one of the funniest people I know. But no, it isn't Steve, but it looks like my dad. And my dad had a hat like that. I don't. Who found that picture? Was it you, Todd, or you, Peter?
No, Peter.
Oh, just off the internet. I Googled small rural doctor, 1940s.
It's amazing. My dad had a hat like, and he kind of looks like my dad, a little thinner than him.
With the gray clouds, the storm clouds make it. It's just perfect.
The climate was definitely right on.
And I look just like him.
So Gigi Birmingham.
Hi, Gigi.
So all you have to do is unmute yourself. So bottom left-hand corner of your window.
Hi.
There you go.
Hey, Gigi.
You're on, Gigi.
Hi. Awesome. I wasn't planning to talk. I mean, I just think it's amazing what you guys are doing. And this was my favorite episode. It was just so, it had everything. I laughed, I was moved. I got scared. It was amazing what you guys accomplished in such a short time. A real journey. Just
Great.
amazing acting. The actors are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you
Gigi.
all so
Thank you.
much.
Well, we're glad you
Thank you.
chimed in. This is what happens when you raise your hand.
Yeah.
Thank you for chiming in.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching, Gigi.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Gigi's a brilliant actress and director, so this is
Oh.
this is high praise from a talented person.
Fantastic. And Dave Field. So Dave, you're up.
Hi, what I've always liked about this piece, what's impressed me is its flexibility. This thing can work on a little TV screen. It could work on a big screen. It could work on stage. It'd be a great radio program. I mean, there's no, and as far as legs, it's like a centipede. It's like a string of centipedes. You can, as long as Bob is a coroner, there's another disaster around the corner to talk about. And so you can always leave us hanging. So keep us hanging.
Yeah.
So Joe, that's on you. Keep us hanging.
Well, we'll do what we can. We'll try. See what.
Thank you.
All right, good. Thanks, Dave. Gina Acosta, you are up.
Hi, guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi,
thank you.
Gina.
Hey, you guys. Congratulations once again to the fearsome fivesome. Just awesome. That's it. It just such a pleasure. Again, it really is a pleasure to see two wonderful actors in the same room at the same table at that same beautiful little kitchen. It's really it's just such a treat. Joe, congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you.
Keep the home fires burning, dude.
That's
Wonderful job, Peter. Thanks, you guys. Hang on. I've got a dude here who wants to say something.
oh, cool.
Greg, and I just wanted to piggyback. Terrific work, Joe. I've got to start with you as a writer. You grab so many colors, and it doesn't appear forced. It's just a nice flow, and it really does take us somewhere else. And Peter, of course, you are a director, and you bring it, and it's great. Lily and you guys were so believable, and I just want to share one thing. The second that photo came up, I used to have my grandfather collected Life magazines, and I remember looking at that. That was a photo essay from 1947. That Country Doctor, I just flashed on the story, and boy, it just framed it so authentically, and you guys just walked right in it. It was terrific. So kudos. And as always, Todd, you're the man at the wheel. So
Pressing the buttons.
Exactly. So, stellar work, guys. Really terrific.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you, Greg.
Betcha.
Frank Henke, I believe.
Hey there. So this is I've watched all the other episodes, and it actually made me want to go back and watch the first two again. And but I loved how you set up. There was still that frame of there's these outrageous comic stories sometimes, but when that bottle of whiskey appeared, I was thinking, what could possibly go wrong? And it set up this great, just horrific tension, that really, you played with beautifully, both in the writing and the directing and the way you guys played off each other and made it seem so, all the changes seem so smooth and moving. And I just really found it quite intense theater. And I loved the, I guess you're off the hook now. I mean,
I love that. Yeah. I love the way Joe ends this. I think it's fucking brilliant.
Okay, so thanks, guys.
Great. Thank you, Frank. And there's actually,
Thanks, Frank.
You opened the door to a little tiny segue, and that is that we do archive everything. So if you go onto the website, smartphonetheater.com, we have we have season 1 and we have season 2. So we're now firmly into season 2, but you can go back and actually watch HOMEFIRES 1 and HOMEFIRES 2. And starting tonight, we are actually going to delay putting our shows up by 5 days, 6 days. So tonight's show is going to go up on Thursday of next week. Yes, we are encouraging people to dial in and actually watch it live. That is one of the reasons. So yes, so if you want to see tonight again, it will go on live. It will go online live this coming Thursday, and then every show thereafter will always go live on Thursday. But you can go online right now and you can watch HOMEFIRES 1, HOMEFIRES 2, and all of the others. We've got about 45, 46 Fridays that are now online that we've been doing since March of last year of 2020. So we've been doing quite a bit. We have a terrific, what's come to a digital company now, and everybody's been doing an amazing job. So I'm very blessed and thrilled to be working with everybody. Before we go, Stephen Small says, when was the last time you used the potato rice hanging on the wall?
Good
Potato
question.
ricer.
I just want to actually, I want to jump in, and we forgot to mention our debt of gratitude to our set director, our set designer and dresser, Lily Knight.
Lily Knight. It was,
Yeah,
look at that background.
and Steve Hofvendahl as well. He has his own details in there, so it makes things really good.
Thank you. That is, we don't use it for potatoes. We have a white sapote tree, and I figured out how to puree the white sapote pulp, and I used that as one of the stages.
Oh,
And I actually had another one that I wore out because of the abundance of that crop.
And
wow.
the B screen, what's the B screen above to your
Oh
right?
yeah, over here, we just got a hive. We got a hive a couple of years ago, but we're sort of stepping it up and learning more and more about it. And so a friend was helping me with it the other day, Jay. Thanks, Jay. And he said, "Well, take these frames and get a little honey." So that's what we're doing. We got some honey.
Great.
We got the honey, and now we're going to return the frames somewhere. I'm not sure where. I'm a new beekeeper.
There's nothing like having 100-year-old house to play in for home fires. For home fires 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, however many. It's great.
Not that I'm inviting myself over to your house, but I can't wait until all this is over so we can. I hear your backyard is amazing.
Yeah,
So
soon,
You're invited.
soon. Yeah,
You're
soon.
invited.
We'll do it soon.
You're all.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, it's fantastic. We have a lot of chats that are in, which a lot of congratulations. So I'm just going to skim really quick. Brilliant work, fantastic, blown away. I've seen episode 1, but not episode 2. Watch episode 2. The writing was fabulous and the actors were flawless. Joe, so inspiring to watch. You grow as a playwright, just amazing. That's from Jeannie Canton. And lots of fantastics, lots of here's wow, always complex, always rich, always with spikes and hilarity. That's from Amanda Carlin. And
Mandy Carlin, a great actress
Yeah, she is.
and painter.
we have a wonderful audience. So if anybody has any other questions, now is the time, because we're going to start to wrap this up. If you guys have anything else that you want to share with the audience. Oh, wait a minute, Clayton Knight. So Clayton, I'm gonna.
Yes, that's my brother.
Oh, cool. All right, you're on.
Well, this was really even more masterful than 1 and 2 was on all counts.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask the actors about something. One of the things that's extraordinary about this to me is that our eyes as an audience, our eyes are always trained over a lifetime to fixed actors and moving camera. And what you guys have managed to do really well is give us the transition to fixed camera, and then the motion is complete with the actors. The scene where the bottle gets poured down the sink worked absolutely perfectly. And the notion that you don't have to have a camera person, this is probably blasphemy in Hollywood, but the notion that you can have actors completely command the audience and keep us engaged without having to move anything around is kind of extraordinary. And the fact that it didn't feel awkward, it felt right the whole time. So what's it like for the actors?
It's exciting because it's simple, and the genius of Lily's good Mac computer here that has a good camera, and that we lucked out that Joe wrote this original piece at a table, and we have this house like this, and I think we tried it in different rooms, and this room we liked the most, and we liked that there was a room, the bigger kitchen, as you know, Chris, is right behind me, behind us. And so we it's just been luck of the draw, as we say in the play, that it's all worked out. And I know that one of the issues will be, especially if we did it as a play, like in a theater, is what would happen to it. And I mean, I don't know if we could just sit at a table like this. It's kind of perfect for Zoom. Mm-hmm. And then to incorporate some of these other things, you couldn't do much, I don't think. Peter and Joe could speak to that more, and Todd. But I think we pushed the envelope a little in this one. Maybe we can push it more in the next one. I don't know. But it's fun. Do you guys think? What do you think?
Well, I wanted to say just before I give it over to Peter that Chris, I like the question, and that is one of the challenges. But I also think that the flatness of two faces, and you focus it by looking this way, and then it's just like a zoom or a rack focus. You know, when the body turns, then your attention goes there. There's lots of things like that that are just interesting, and your question makes me, it stimulates my imagination about how to do that, more, use it more, But I also wanted to say about Joe's writing, which I love so much, is that it has they say in vaudeville, they used to say in one, that in one was the strip of stage in front of the curtain, and that certain kinds of scenes were played in one. And it has this quality of that to me, that when you have depth in the scene, it breaks it, but it always returns to, it's these two people that are trying to work out this life. And
at the kitchen table.
And there's something, beautifully simple about that. And I'm just curious about where it's going to go, but I like your question, Chris.
Yeah, I will say that I think that formula is described by Lily about would translate easily to stage in terms of with a set would look not unlike this, exactly like this, only how they enter, where they actually and also there are other. I'm thinking of recent theater that I know of in New York, where the episodes build on themselves. In other words, coming back to the table is that there's no other place to resolve whatever these conflicts are except at the table. But going away from it and coming back to it would be a stylistic dynamic if the piece were on stage. And there would be, I think that would not just be a challenge. I think it would really be a huge opportunity stylistically, speaking as a director now, but also, lighting designers and all that other set designers to create a magic box, basically, that is centered around what Lily just said about in one table downstage, that is connected to the audience.
I like the restriction of having them anchored at that table. I don't know how much longer we can get away with it, with just keeping them there. I mean, I was delighted today that all that action up in the kitchen, it was hilarious. And the way Lily was like almost fighting with him over the booze. I mean, that was such a change of pace for us in a way, but it just played beautifully. But I like the restriction of keeping them anchored there, because it kind of creates automatic tension. I mean, there's always a problem and they can't move. They have to deal with it. Now, I don't know how long we can, hopefully good stories will come. We'll see what happens. And then you see on their faces and in the little movements, and you see them trying to deal with the problem. So it is just sort of right in your face, the restriction of being anchored there.
It's the art of the conversation, which is fantastic. I think our lives these days are very mobile, and we often don't sit down at a table. Where it's just two people, we'll sit on a couch where it's a television and a remote control and other things and lots of distractions. But to have two people actually where we're seeing their life unfold, because it's literally the art of the conversation, is beautiful. Yeah. And in response to the camera moving, that's because cameras have gotten so small. Back in the day, cameras were monsters. Not to mention that everything was a direct translation from the theater, so everything really had to be blocked around the camera because they were just too large to move. And now we've suddenly gotten used to this whole very dynamic staging of moving cameras and moving everything, and that's how our brains have been wired. But to actually slow down and feel what two people are doing in one specific area is a treat.
I can think of recent films that have been completely restrained. Bridge of Spies, for example, comes to mind immediately. Those are people around tables. Those are a negotiation around tables, and then it opens up and there's an outside shot. Right. So if this were episodic television, that's all available. If it's theater, then it has to be thought about how the other world. This is the first time something from the outer world has entered the action, the narrative action, with the phone call of Freddie. I mean, otherwise Bob brings that in through stories, but this is, or RENA we get a sense of that through what, her disturbances and what's getting at her. But now, the piece is opening up slightly. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah, exactly.
And we've kind of, in every episode, we've called out to the world. I mean, we didn't do it in this one, but in the others, we look out the window and we comment on what's going on out there. And then, of course, all of his stories. So I think that gives it some added value, as you say, Peter, that they are talking about that world out there as they are sort of isolated in their little world.
Those things, it's funny because I invited a childhood friend of mine who's an artist, a fantastic artist from a family of artists, Suzanne Gentling. She lives in Glen Rose, Texas. We were thinking of using one of her paintings today, but we might use it in one of the following episodes. She lives in Glen Rose in a house, and and through social media, she posts a lot about events that are happening around the house. This is natural life. It's animals that show up on a regular basis. These are things that enter consciousness when you are living in a more, not exactly solitary, because you're surrounded by nature. It's not solitary, but it's less distracted than life in an urban environment can be. Anyway, I think that's a huge plus to the piece, personally. I mean, I love the world of the story.
Right. And then letting those stories take on a life of their own,
Good. Well, if anybody else, I'm going to give you guys 30 seconds. In the meantime, to everybody on screen, I want to thank you guys very, very much. Tonight was, again, beautiful. And I'm going to send you a link for a quick wrap up. Carrie says, I'm just going to read Carrie's out loud. I hope she doesn't mind. Hi, all. Having been with Joe since the beginning on this piece, I'm so moved and exhilarated after watching it all come together so beautifully tonight. Bravo to you all. A great collaboration, inspiration. And that's from Carrie Campbell.
Yeah, she's a talented writer and a member of my writing group. And she and the others have helped a lot with this piece as we've worked it through. In fact, as an example of that, originally there was just this whole idea of Bob going and pouring the booze out. That was just kind of one line. And I kept almost arguing with my group. They were saying, you need more of that. They got to fight over that. It's got to be a thing. It's got to be. And I didn't at first agree at all. And then once I finally got it, I can't conceive of this piece without that whole movement up there, them kind of struggling over it. And so I remember that when in our class, how Carrie was instrumental in saying, you've got to make more of this, that beat.
Note. Very good note. Very, very good note. So excellent. Well, it was great. It was great. And obviously everybody loved it. And we're all excited for episode 4. So which will be in a couple months. So everybody stay tuned.
Yeah, if anybody has an episode 4, please send it in to Todd. We're working on it.
Yeah, very good. All right, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. It's if you're in LA, it's nice and warm, and just wear your mask, go outside and have fun. And anywhere else, I hope you're happy and healthy. And we look forward to seeing you again very soon. Okay.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Todd. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. See you soon.